What if the person you trusted the most was the one holding the knife behind your back? What if every smile hid a secret, and every promise was just a setup for betrayal? Stick with me, because tonight's story will keep you on the edge of your seat until the very last second. Before we dive in, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button so you never miss these dark and gripping tales. Trust me, you'll want to stay until the end for this one. Chapter 1. The rain had been falling for hours, the kind of relentless storm that made the city glow like broken glass beneath flickering neon. In a deserted alley, two figures stood beneath a rusted fire escape, their faces hidden in the shadows. "Do you trust me?" Daniel's voice was sharp, cutting through the rain like a blade. "Of course," replied Marcus, though his jaw was tight, his hand twitching slightly inside his soaked jacket pocket. They had been brothers in all but blood, partners in crime, partners in survival. Their rise through the underworld had been meteoric, to kids from nothing, carving a path with equal parts charisma and ruthlessness. Together, they had built an empire. Together, they had sworn loyalty. But tonight, Marcus felt a fracture running through that bond. Daniel smiled thinly, cigarette smoke curling through the storm. "Then we move tonight. No hesitation. No second thoughts. This deal will change everything." Marcus nodded, forcing conviction into his voice. "I'm with you." He wasn't. Chapter 2. The game begins. The target was the Valencia Syndicate, a brutal mafia family that had reigned for decades. Their leader, Don Arturo Valencia, was feared like a ghost, his cruelty legendary. Daniel's plan was suicide: rob the Syndicate's vault, take their money, and use it to break free from their grip once and for all. But Marcus knew something Daniel didn't. He had been approached weeks earlier by Arturo himself. The Don had whispered promises in his ear: "Sell me your friend, and I'll give you everything you've ever wanted. Wealth, power, control." And Marcus had listened. Now, as Daniel set the plan in motion, Marcus felt the weight of betrayal digging into his chest like a buried blade. He was about to sacrifice his brother for a kingdom of ashes. Chapter 3. The Vault. The heist unfolded with cinematic precision. Daniel was a mastermind, every guard distracted, every camera looped, every code cracked. They moved through the Syndicate's fortress like shadows, reaching the steel door of the vault. Moment of truth, Daniel whispered, kneeling before the final lock. Marcus stood behind him, the gun heavy in his hand. His finger trembled against the trigger. He thought about their childhood, the nights they'd gone hungry, the promises they'd made to each other, the blood they'd spilled side by side. Daniel looked back at him, smiling with that same reckless grin that had carried them through every impossible battle. "Once this opens," he said, "we'll never have to bow to anyone again." Marcus swallowed hard. "Forgive me, brother." Before he could pull the trigger, the vault door swung open. Inside was more wealth than either of them had imagined: stacks of gold, untraceable cash, precious stones. But it wasn't the treasure that froze Marcus in place. It was the figure waiting inside: Don Arturo Valencia. Chapter 4. The betrayal revealed. The Don's laughter echoed in the steel chamber. "Daniel," he said, stepping forward, "did you really think I wouldn't see this coming? You've been clever, boy, but not clever enough." Daniel's eyes darted between Arturo and Marcus. How did he know? And then he saw the truth in Marcus' face. "You," Daniel whispered, betrayal cutting deeper than any blade. "You sold me out." Marcus tried to speak, but his throat was dry. "I had no choice." "He offered me." "You always had a choice," Daniel spat, his voice breaking. Arturo's guards swarmed in, guns raised, surrounding them. In that moment, Marcus felt the full weight of what he had done. He had not only doomed his brother, he had destroyed himself. Chapter 5. Blood in the rain. The standoff erupted into chaos. Daniel, fueled by fury and desperation, fought like a man possessed. He turned the vault into a storm of bullets and shattered glass, taking down Syndicate men with ruthless precision. Marcus fought too, but his shots felt empty. His betrayal had poisoned every move. At one point, their eyes met across the battlefield. Daniel's glare was no longer that of a brother, it was the look of a man who would never forgive. By the time the smoke cleared, Daniel was gone, disappeared into the night, leaving only bodies and blood in his wake. And Marcus knew Daniel would come back, not as a friend, not as a brother, but as an executioner. Chapter 6. The hunt begins. Weeks passed. Marcus rose higher in Arturo's empire, draped in wealth and power. But none of it brought peace. Everywhere he went, He felt Daniel's shadow stalking him. Whispers followed him through the city, stories of a ghost, a vigilante, a figure tearing through Syndicate operations. Men disappeared. Safe houses burned. Arturo's lieutenants were slaughtered in the dark. It was Daniel. Marcus knew it. And he knew it was only a matter of time before Daniel came for him. Previously, Marcus betrayed his brother Daniel to the Valencia Syndicate. But Daniel escaped, leaving behind only blood and a promise of revenge. Now, the hunter has become the hunted and the line between vengeance and justice is about to snap. If you're still here, you know this story is only getting more brutal. Before we dive in, smash that like button and subscribe so you don't miss stories like this one. Now let's finish what we started. Chapter 7. The Phantom. The city belonged to Daniel now. Not in the way Marcus had dreamed. No thrones, no crowns, no empires of glass. But in whispers, in fear, in fire. Every week, another of Arturo's warehouses went up in flames. His shipments vanished. His soldiers were found gutted in alleys, their corpses arranged like warnings. They called him the Phantom, a ghost that moved through shadows. But Marcus knew better. This wasn't a ghost. This was Daniel and he was coming home. Chapter 8. Arturo's grip. Arturo Valencia was furious, his empire cracking beneath Daniel's relentless strikes. You told me you could control him, Arturo snarled, slamming his fist into his desk. You said he was finished. Marcus stood silently, his jaw clenched. He's not after me, Marcus muttered finally. He's after me. Arturo's eyes gleamed like steel. Then perhaps I should hand you over. And this mess before it swallows us all. Marcus stiffened. You'd betray me after everything? Arturo smirked. Don't look so surprised, boy. Betrayal is the currency of power. For the first time, Marcus felt the noose tightening around his own neck. He had traded his brother for safety and now even that was slipping away. Chapter 9. Shadows collide. The first time Daniel struck directly at Marcus, it was with precision. A car bomb, placed beneath Marcus' sleek black sedan. Marcus survived only because his driver had taken the wheel first. The explosion painted the street in fire, and Marcus stood there, trembling, realizing Daniel's message was clear. I can touch you whenever I want. Later that night, Marcus returned to his penthouse only to find his security guard slaughtered at the door. Inside, the walls dripped with blood, and on the mirror, scrawled in red, "Brothers forever. Until you killed it." Marcus staggered back, his heart pounding. He wasn't safe anywhere. Chapter 10. The Trap. Desperate, Marcus made a move of his own. He arranged a meeting in an abandoned cathedral, baiting Daniel with whispers of peace. No syndicate. No guards. Just us. For a moment, Marcus almost believed Daniel would come to reconcile. But when Daniel appeared, he wasn't the brother Marcus remembered. His eyes were sharp, hollowed by betrayal, his face a mask of cold fury. You chose him over me, Daniel said quietly. And now you'll bleed for it. Marcus reached out. I can fix this. But Daniel's laugh was jagged glass. You don't fix betrayal. You burn it. The cathedral erupted in chaos. Hidden snipers, syndicate men, ambush from every angle. Marcus had lied again, setting Daniel into a trap. But Daniel was always faster, always smarter. By the time the smoke cleared, dozens of syndicate men were dead. Arturo's fury was sealed and Marcus was left crawling, begging for his life as Daniel disappeared once more. Chapter 11. Brothers at war. The city split down the middle. Arturo's men against Daniel's ghost war. Streets ran red with blood. Innocent businesses burned. Politicians were bought. Cops disappeared. Entire neighborhoods silenced under fear. And in the center of it all, Marcus and Daniel. Every encounter left Marcus more paranoid, more broken. He couldn't sleep, couldn't eat. The empire had betrayed his brother to gain was crumbling in his hands. Meanwhile, Daniel thrived in the chaos. Each strike made him stronger, his legend darker. People whispered his name like a prayer and a curse. But Daniel wasn't after the empire. He wanted one thing only. Marcus. Chapter 12. Arturo's betrayal. The breaking point came suddenly. Marcus entered Arturo's office one night to find syndicate men waiting with guns raised. Arturo leaned back in his chair, smiling coldly. It's over, boy. You're nothing but a liability now. Daniel won't stop until you're dead. And I'd rather feed him your corpse than lose another inch of my empire. Marcus' stomach twisted. You after everything I've done for you. You betrayed your own blood for me, Arturo cut in. If you do that to him, why wouldn't you do it to me? With a snap of his fingers, the guards closed in. Marcus fought like a cornered animal, cutting down Syndicate men with wild desperation. By the time he escaped, blooded and broken, he finally understood. He had nothing. No empire, no allies, no family, and only one way out. He had to face Daniel. Chapter 13. The final confrontation. They met at dawn, on the ruined docks of the city, where fires still smoldered from Daniel's last strike. Marcus stood with nothing but a pistol, his body trembling. Daniel emerged from the mist, his silhouette as sharp as the blade in his hand. For a long time, they said nothing. The sea crashed behind them, the gulls circling like carrion. Then Marcus whispered, "I'm sorry." Daniel's jaw tightened. Sorry doesn't erase graves. They clashed with the fury of everything they had been: brothers, partners, enemies. The fight was brutal, savage, drenched in rain and blood. Every blow carried years of trust and betrayal. Finally, Daniel knocked Marcus to the ground, his blade at his throat. "Do it," Marcus whispered. "Finish it. That's what you want." Daniel hesitated, his chest heaving. His hand shook. Then he dropped the blade. "No," Daniel said. "Killing you is mercy. And mercy is something you don't deserve. You'll live with what you did. That's worse than death." He turned and walked into the mist, leaving Marcus bleeding, broken, but alive. Chapter 14. Ashes. Marcus never saw Daniel again. The Syndicate crumbled under the chaos. Arturo was assassinated by his own lieutenants. The city moved on, rebuilding itself from the ashes of their war. But Marcus lived in exile, haunted by shadows. Every sound at night, every flicker in the corner of his eye, every whisper of wind, he wondered if it was Daniel, finally coming to end it. And sometimes, he almost wished it was, because there are fates worse than death. And Marcus was living one. And that's the end of Shattered Bonds, a story of betrayal, revenge, and the price of blood between brothers. So tell me, do you think Daniel was right to let Marcus live, or should he have ended it? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this dark tale, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon because the next story is coming, and trust me, you won't want to miss it.